everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I have another Halloween treat holder that would be great for classroom gifts or handing out to trick-or-treaters, coworker gifts. I'm making these for Halloween, but like any of the other projects that I make that are, treats that are themed, you can always tweak things and make them for whatever you need them for, just by changing the paper or the sentiment. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get into it. I did make a prototype of this just to make sure that I liked it and it was going to work, and sure enough it did. This one, it has like pumpkins and is more like fall themed, but the one we're going to make today is obviously more for Halloween. So I put 5 Jolly Ranchers in there, and I'm going to close it with a Velcro dot, and I'll show you that in just a minute. But this is the project for today. When it is done, it measures about 3 1/4 inches tall by about 2 inches like wide, and it's 3/4 of an inch deep. So it's a good size. You could fit Ghirardellis in here, the full-size ones or the minis. You could fit Hershey Kisses, Hershey Nuggets in here. I ended up pinching the sides, but if you wanted to leave it open, you may just have to kind of curl the top over it a little bit, but I liked the idea of pinching it closed and then holding it closed with a Velcro dot. And depending on what you put in there, this kind of shape will change a little bit. It naturally stops where the materials in it stop. So it's really cool. So let's go ahead and get into it. So you need a 6x6 piece of pattern paper. This is a lighter weight pattern paper. It's probably a little bit thicker than copy paper. But for this project, it's not carrying a whole lot of weight. So you don't have to use like super thick cardstock. Like I said, this is about the weight of copy paper. So a 6x6 piece, and on one of the sides, you're going to score 2 3/4 at 4 3/4 and at 5 1/2, and then rotate it to the opposite 6-inch side, and you're going to score at 3/4 and at 4. So this is what you're left with. I'm going to turn it to that side. You might be able to see it a little bit better there. That is what you're left with. So now we're going to do some cutting and some folding and burnishing. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of sharpen up those score marks. So I'm just folding it over on itself and very lightly burnishing with my bone folder. Like I said, this is pretty lightweight cardstock, so you don't have to push very hard. And I am trying to make sure that we're lined up at the top and bottom. We're not kind of off-centered. I'm probably not going to put sentiments on these things right now, but you obviously can if you have something that works. So we're going to do a little bit of trimming. So with your little 1/2-inch tab off to the left, you've got a little rectangle at the bottom. I'm going to miter in, which just means you're going to kind of wedge into that square right there, and I'm going to wedge into this long rectangle here and remove that. So this is what we removed. We're essentially removing the score marks and wedging into those pieces adjacent to it. And then we're going to come up here and wedge again, and then we're going to remove 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. So the section that does not have the 1/2-inch tab, we are leaving this top section. We were going to remove everything up to that. So 1, 2, 3, 4 sections over. And we're just going to the best of my ability, I'm going to try to cut straight across. And I'm going to cut kind of to the inside of that score mark there. If you would prefer to use longer scissors, or if you don't trust yourself with scissors, you can obviously use your paper trimmer to cut that out. So now I'm going to cut straight up this kind of longer rectangle, and I'm going to wedge into that smaller one, that smaller square there. These are going to be our glue tabs. So once again, I'm going to cut straight up the rectangle on either side here, and then I'm going to wedge in here to remove each of those little score marks and kind of wedge. So this is what you are left with, okay? This is what you should have when it's all said and done. Now, in order to get this kind of decorative top right here, I used this. I don't have very many things from Stampin' Up, but I do have this. This is the tag topper punch. They have several of these. This just happens to be the one that I have. Some of their newer ones have like different sized wells here so that you can get, you know, maybe you just want this larger hump here, or maybe you just want these 3, or maybe you want the full one. And they don't have the little ribbon loop there. They have several of these out now, but this is just the one that I have. So I'm gonna, this happens to be 2 inches, and so does this. So I'm gonna stick this in here, and I'm gonna flip this over to the back just so that I can make sure everything is centered, and that it's pushed all the way up to the edge here, and then I'm gonna punch. And that gives you that really pretty, fun little edge there. Okay, so there's that. Moving right along. If you wanted to, you could keep this, but I'm probably just gonna toss it. Don't come after me, please. I'm gonna use liquid glue just because I like the wiggle room it gives me, and when I'm making things in mass, I feel like this is much more economical. So I'm gonna put glue on that little 1/2 inch tab there, and then I'm gonna fold this over. When I fold that over, I'm making sure that my score marks are lining up at the top and at the bottom, and that I don't have any like random overhanging on the sides here. So my cardstock isn't overhanging, and I'll have to do a bunch of trimming because ain't nobody got time for that. And especially when you're doing things in mass, you want to kind of limit the amount of extra things you got to do to finish things off. So now I'm going to fold in both of these tabs, these little tabs. I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on them. And then this is the front of our box. So I'm going to fold in the back, and then I'm going to put glue on what is going to be the front. And then I'm going to, because I use liquid glue, I can kind of wiggle that in place a little bit and make sure that my box isn't like this as best as I can. Then I'm going to take my bone folder and just kind of press a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab some of my Jolly Ranchers. Like I said, I'm using Jolly Ranchers, but you can use whatever. And I've found that 5 fit in there pretty great. Oops, throwing them at myself. Maybe I just did 4. Let's just do 4. I'm going to kind of push those down a little bit. Then I'm going to take my thumb, my index finger, and my middle finger. I'm going to use my index finger to push in the sides while I pinch from the back, and that's going to give me kind of that fun little gusseted look on the sides and on the back. So if you'll see, like here, that's how that one closed, but this one's closing a little bit different, and that's okay. Let's be real, like these are probably just gonna be ripped open for the goodies inside. So that's what we have, that's what we're left with. You could close those with little magnets if you wanted to, but I'm just gonna use Velcro dots. I purchased these off of Amazon, I don't know, forevers ago, and I've had them for a very long time, and as you can see, I still have gobs of them, like gobs. So I've got to use them. So these are good projects to use them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick it below that ribbon hole opening. I'm just going to stick one down right there. And then I'm going to make sure that this is lining up how I want it. And then I'm going to press really hard. Separate those. Press again. Press really hard again. And then that now stays closed. And that is our little project for the day. So I've got one more project planned, and I will try to post that next Tuesday. I hope you are sticking around for kind of my stationery sets and tips and tricks for those. Those videos are coming out on Thursdays this month. I hope if you've missed anything, you'll go back and check it out, and you will stick with me through the rest of the month. We are about to get into our Christmas and our Christmas series, but not quite yet. So, like I said, this is the project for today. I appreciate you spending time with me. Until then, we'll see you next time. Bye.